Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 3, Section 2 of A Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second Golden Thread.
As.
Ah.
A Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second Golden Thread. Charles Dickens. Chapter 3, Section 2. Positively. Every live by cheating at play. Every life by play. Not more than other gentlemen do. Ever borrow money of the prisoner? Yes. Ever pay him? Well. Was not this intimacy with the prisoner in reality a very slight one, forced upon the prisoner in coaches, inns, and packets? Well, sure he saw the prisoner with these lists? Titan knew no more about the lists? Well, had not procured them himself. For instance? Well, expect to get anything by this evidence? Well, not in regular government pay and employment. To lay traps? Oh dear no. Or to do anything? Oh dear no. Swear that. Over and over again. No motives but motives of sheer patriotism. None whatever. The virtuous servant, Roger Clay, swore his way through the case at a great rate. He had taken service with the prisoner in good faith and simplicity. 4 years ago, he had asked the prisoner aboard the Calais packet if he wanted a handy fellow, and the prisoner had engaged him. Charity never thought of such a thing. He began to have suspicions of the prisoner, and to keep an eye upon him. Soon afterwards, in arranging his clothes while travelling, he had seen similar lists to these in the prisoner's pockets. Over and over again, he had taken these lists from the drawer of the prisoner's desk. He had not put them there first. He had seen the prisoner show these identical lists to French gentlemen at Calais, and similar lists to French gentlemen, both at Calais and Boulogne. He loved his country, and couldn't bear it, and had given information. He had never been suspected of stealing a silver teapot. He had been maligned respecting a mustard pot, but it turned out to be only a plated one. He had known the last witness 7 or 8 years. That was merely a coincidence. He didn't call it a particularly curious coincidence. Most coincidences were curious. He was a true Briton, and hoped there were many like him. The blue flies buzzed again, and Mr. Attorney General called Mr. Jarvis Lurie. Wistu. Jarvis Lurie. On a certain Friday night in November 1775. Wistu. Oi. Look upon the prisoner. Both were so wrapped up, and the night was so dark, and we were all so reserved. Wistu. Oi. Look again upon the prisoner. supposing him wrapped up as those two passengers were. You will not swear. Mr. Or yes. Except that I remember them both to have been like myself timorous of highwaymen. Did you ever see a counterfeit of timidity? Mr. Or look once more upon the prisoner. Have you seen him? To your certain knowledge. I was returning from France a few days afterwards. And then, at Calais, the prisoner came on board the packet ship in which I returned. In the dead of the night. Never mind about happening, Mr. Or were you travelling alone? Mr. Or with two companions, a gentleman and lady. They are here. Hardly any. The weather was stormy, and the passage long and rough, and I lay on a sofa. The young lady, two more eyes had been turned before, and were now turned again, stood up where she had sat. Her father rose with her, and kept her hand drawn through his arm. Miss Manette, to be confronted with such pity, and such earnest youth and beauty, was far more trying to the accused than to be confronted with all the crowd, standing, as it were, apart with her on the edge of his grave. Not all the stirring curiosity that looked on could, for the moment, nerve him to remain quite still. In a gardened, cooler rush to his heart, the buzz of the grape flies was loud again. Miss Manette is on board of the packet ship just now referred to. So, but most happily, the plaintive tone of her compassion merged into the less musical voice of the judge, as he said something fiercely. Answer the questions put to you. Miss Manette is, in the midst of a profound stillness, she faintly began. Do you mean the prisoner? Inquired the judge, knitting his brows. Is, when the prisoner came on board, was much fatigued and in a very weak state of health. And I had made a bed for him on the deck near the cabin steps, and I sat on the deck at his side to take care of him. There were no other passengers that night, but we four. Shelter my father from the wind and weather, better than I had done. I had not known how to do it well, not understanding how the wind would set when we were out of the harbour. He did it for me. He expressed great gentleness and kindness for my father's state, and I am sure he felt it. Let me interrupt you for a moment. They had conferred together until the last moment. Had any papers been handed about among them? Some papers had been handed about among them. Possibly. But indeed I don't know. Although they stood whispering very near to me, the lamp that was hanging there, it was a dull lamp, and they spoke very low. To be continued.